So I did my master's degree and then I worked in research for 5 years, looking at school and hospital environments. And through that research, I started identifying this gap that we didn't have the knowledge about how the built environment affects us. So my research is exploring how the built environment and how buildings affect our emotion. But it's not just asking someone, hey, does this building affect your emotion? It's actually measuring it like by looking at people's brainwaves, by looking at their biological responses too. But to do this, you need to do it in such a controlled way. So I needed to go somewhere where there was the facilities to be able to do this. So access to EEG equipment and to virtual reality setup, but also have really supportive supervisors who would enable me to do this research because it just wasn't something that was happening within Australia at the time. So what we have at Deakin is a cave automatic virtual environment, and in this virtual space, basically someone can sit or stand within the middle of this room. You can project the stimulus on and change that. So instead of building multiple kind of built environments where you test someone within, you actually can just put them in that one space and keep rolling that experiment and get some answers. I came to Deakin and I came to do a PhD knowing the most important thing was to be supported. You've got to be passionate about it, you've got to have a lot of grit to keep on going with it, but you have to be supported and you have to have people that believe in you. So I've had a great relationship with my supervisors. Both are very different from each other, and that makes it a really good team. So I did the 3-minute thesis and I won the 3-minute thesis. And so basically you've got to break down your PhD, which is usually 80 to 100,000 words, into 3 minutes and communicate that to a general audience. And you're not meant to dumb it down, you're just meant to make it easily understandable by everyone so they can understand the importance of it and how it's going to make a difference. It's a lesson in science communication, which is really important to be able to sell your research in a way to say why it's really important that you're doing that. I'm really excited about that industry mentorship program in STEM. So I'm participating in that this year. I feel like my background in government helps me to see how my research could inform policy, but then also participating in this industry program will enable me to see how research ideas can actually be translated into practice as well. So one of the myths I'd really like to dispel about doing a PhD is that at the end, you're just going to have one thesis, one big book that's going to sit on a shelf and gather dust. I'm doing my PhD by publication, so that means I'm publishing parts of my PhD as I go. And as I'm doing that, that means it's getting out to industry practitioners, it's getting out to the community, and then I talk about it too. So my research isn't just going to sit on a shelf and not help people, it's actually going to make a difference. So for me, what's next is once I've answered this research question and finished the PhD, I really want to see it implemented by government. So I want to see my research inform government policy, but I also want to see it trickle down into industry too. So working in the IMNIS program and seeing how the medtech sector works and that idea translation from research into practice is really important to me, because that's how we get that research out of the lab and have it make a real life impact on people.